Hi, I'm Michael Wargo, team pilot for Precision Aerobatics. Today, I'm going to do a little video to help you manage slow rolls, teach you how to do them. I've contended for quite a while that it's one of the most difficult skills to master. It is the maneuver that actually got me very, very interested in pattern flying and let me see the difficulty and the beauty in pattern flying. It involves control over the aircraft like many of you have never even thought about. When you're flying around and you're even rolling Harriers and things, you know, the plane is just going and it's rolling through something, and you're hitting controls to you know, go left and right rudder and things like that. This is a little different because as I've explained in other videos, as the plane is flying, as it's rotating slightly, there's very fine controls need to be added to maintain the nose attitude and be able to keep the plane straight. It's so challenging, it's crazy. You know, I used to take my pattern ship, go way over the trees on one side and try and see if I could just keep staying straight until I reached the trees on the other side. And I would just go over and over and over and over, and just trying to add just enough rudder to make sure the nose is up, and then make sure I'm managing the elevator to keep it straight. Some of my favorite maneuvers that I do, they're not quite as exciting to watch, but they're very, very difficult, is single rolling maneuvers like the single rolling loop or single rolling circles. You've seen me do it, or tick-tock loops and things like that. They're very, very difficult to keep the plane straight. And so as the plane is rotating, I've done this in a video before that kind of explains a lot of this, but as the plane is rotating, for instance, as you turn right and go to knife edge, because that's the first part of that slow roll. The problem is you have to divide it up into more sections, because let's say once you go here, you need 15% rudder, for instance, to keep the nose up. But here, when you're only at an eighth turn, you need 6% rudder. So it has to be added gradually, and if you add it too soon, plane turns. Because if you start adding your level, and if as soon as you start rolling you add a little rudder, left rudder, the plane will start drifting left. Because, I mean, rudder is yaw. So it's, you know, when you're this way, it's kind of used as an elevator. So as you're rolling, it has to be exactly on that mark. And as you start to roll, it's going to want to yaw a little bit. Even if you're perfect with the rudder, it's still going to want to yaw a little bit. So you need just a little bit of up elevator to counter it. I'm going to take the plane up. I'm going to fly it towards me or towards the camera. And you're going to kind of see the effects on it. Conversely, when you're doing a loop or a roll, it could be your friend. So as I'm beginning my single rolling circle, I add a little extra rudder at first, because what it does is it starts canting the plane on that arc. So it's basically starting with kind of a rudder turn, and as I roll to my first point, then rudder is basically keeping it straight, and I have to add a little push on the elevator.
30 seconds.
And manage these things is sometimes it seems like it would take an act of God to get it right, but you can. It just takes some practice, and it's a skill that you'll never be sorry you worked on. Now, first things first. You can do this on your low rate, not your snap rate, but your low rate, to where your ailerons are slow. That just helps you, you know, with the whole rolling part of it. So as we're coming towards us, what I'm going to do is I am going to start by rolling. And now I'm at whatever rudder I need.
-1 minute.
And you can see how the plane stayed relatively straight. Ailerons are still a little fast. Now, when you practice this, my suggestion is to practice left to right down the runway. My best advice is to start it with no rudder at all, and then add it now. And that's what keeps it straight. So let's watch that first maneuver, that first move again. That first move is just add the aileron and let its momentum keep it straight. So now look, it's straight, but now I need to add that rudder and hold it a little bit. Another little trick is after you start rolling from that first quarter point to inverted, hold that other rudder for a little bit. That's going to help you stay straight. I always find that if I go to rudder and then I release it right away, you see I'm already turning in the wrong direction. I'm already off to the left. But if you hold it a little bit, I'll show you coming towards me. As I'm coming towards me, I rolled it, and now look, I'm holding it because coming out of that, I actually have a little rudder holding it to that side. So when I turn back straight again, or to the other point, I'm starting with a little advantage that helps it stay a little straighter. I'll try and demonstrate it down the runway again. Coming down the runway, there. You see it? You see it wanting to turn? That wasn't intentional. That was the natural tendencies of the aircraft and adding rudder. So all of a sudden, I'm a little bit offline. Roll. A great way to learn this is to start by trying to really nail the point roll. So I'm going to go to first point, keep it straight. Second point, keep it straight. Third point, keep it straight.
-4 minutes.
I find I have a tendency on the third point to pull a little elevator, and it bites me in the butt because it pushes it off the line. I'm not quite sure why that tendency exists in me, and it might with everybody. I don't know. I just know somehow as soon as I get inverted or on that last point, I tend to do that. So there we go. Second point, third point, fourth. Now, I didn't do them even because what I'm trying to do is make sure the plane is straight. So again, in order to practice this, you need to be comfortable with every part of it. So we're going to go around. We're going to start with point number 1. There we are. Now let's keep it straight. And then we're going to go to point number 2. Adding a little rudder to keep it straight. Point number 3. And then point 4.
-5 minutes.
So until you can do point roll straight down the runway, you won't be able to slow roll straight down the runway. But trust me, the more you practice it, the better you'll be at it. Now, when you're trying to do a slow rolling circle or a single rolling circle, you're coming straight. I'm adding rudder way early. Ready, rudder starting now, and you see the plane yawing. And now I have to push a little on the elevator. I'm yawing it the other way now, yawing hard to keep the circle. And again, I've got to start hitting the opposite rudder again to have it come around. It was doing a bit of a flat turn there in the end, you can see. To make it look, really good and really deliberate and exactly the way it's supposed to be, I'll try and give you an idea of what I'm doing with the sticks.
-6 minutes.
So here it is. I'm going rudder now, hard, very hard rudder, almost full, level, pretty hard rudder on the other side to keep a circle, almost full. Now I'm going to start releasing that rudder, and I'm pulling on the elevator to bring it around, and now it's around. I'm going to give you a little quick idea of, the single rolling loop. I'm going to do this on a higher rate because of getting over the top and stuff like that and the lack of speed going up. I do this on my 3D rate. We're going to do an outside one because I think it looks prettier. We start inverted, and now I'm going to go up. Rudder. Now I'm at a quarter. Over the top. Just roll slowly. I'm pulling on the elevator now. I'm rolling some more. Now I'm hitting the rudder pretty hard, back around, and that came out kind of perfect. And again, when I'm coming out of the maneuver, do you notice that I rolled straight coming out of it? Another thing that just really looks good. If you ever want to try that TikTok loop, I'll show you for a second what it kind of sort of looks like. And if I were you, I would just do half to start. Well, I bailed out there, but I haven't done one in a long time. But the whole idea is when you're rolling back and forth is to keep real good control over the rudder and direction. That's all very difficult. Like with the TikTok loop, I'd suggest that you just start doing it and just do the first half. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, of course, you can always do the rest. It's a lot tougher coming down because you just don't have the benefit of the prop wash like you do on the way up. And obviously what I'm doing is I'm just going knife edge side to side. But again, to keep it straight is pretty difficult. Anyway, I hope this video helps. This is a very difficult maneuver, but very, very rewarding in the end. There's a lot of precision stuff that it trains you for that is really valuable.